So what we're saying here is activities that pose risk to life are acceptable if and only if each of these happens. So the first thing that has to happen is each person has to have some net benefit that can't happen if we don't have those risks, or they bear the risk voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
So the original is accept, so things are acceptable if
Mm-hmm.
they, if they get some gain that they wouldn't have elsewhere,
Yeah.
or if they do it voluntarily. Now, if we flip and negate this, which technically you wouldn't have to flip it or reverse it, you could just, because it's a double arrow, but
Yeah.
just to stay in the right mindset, it would be if we don't have the person who bears the risk either gains, if we don't have that and we don't have voluntarily, then
Mm-hmm.
we know for certain that it's not acceptable, because
Yeah.
to be acceptable, you only need one of them. So
Yes, but to
literally
not
not
be acceptable, you need
acceptable,
both.
you can't have either of them. Correct.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so the reason that A is wrong is because it tells us that this is acceptable. So we're looking at the first one, right? Like when is
Yeah.
acceptable? It's whenever we the decision not to replace the cars voluntarily.
But bears the risk voluntarily. But it's saying the decision not to replace the car is voluntary. That doesn't necessarily mean he's bearing the risk, does it? Like it's a
Yes,
decision.
yes. That's what makes A so hard, is that is the activity that poses risk. Yeah, is it, do we know that it is an activity that poses risk to life?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We just know that something has more safety features. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
that not having those safety features poses a risk to life.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why A is wrong.
Got it. Because you don't get the first part of the biconditional. I
Yeah.
got that.
And
Okay.
B is wrong for the same reason that we don't establish that it is like there's any
A
benefit.
net benefit or it's voluntary. Like if anything, it's not voluntarily to the people who are literally receiving secondhand smoke.
Right. Excellent. All right. And then C
Okay.
is
So he rides without a helmet, right? He's doing an activity that poses a risk to life. He incurs a fatal injury, and that injury is acceptable because the motorcyclist incurred it willingly or voluntarily, right? So
we
he
have one of our things. So I like C so far.
okay. So I remember getting really mad about this and contemplating between A and C. And I was like, a fatal injury? Like, how is that beneficial? Like, we don't like that. But I didn't realize it's voluntary is enough. It's sufficient
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
That's what I didn't realize. But I remember just being like, you need both. I
No.
didn't
Oh, yeah.
realize.
Excellent. Okay. So why? Okay. Go on to D.
Okay, motor vehicles are allowed to emit certain low levels of pollution. The resulting health risks are acceptable because all the users of motorcycle vehicles sharing the resulting benefit of inexpensive, convenient travel. No.
Right. And why is that one wrong?
Because they it just reads wrong, but also they're not doing it voluntarily.
No, they're not doing it voluntarily. We don't have a special benefit.
And
Um,
like
and do we know that certain levels of a pollution, that these health risks are posing risk to life?
no, they're just probably
Yeah, we
polluting.
don't know that. Yeah, excellent. All right, and then E.
A nation requires all citizens to spend 2 years in national service. Because the service involves no risk to life, the policy is acceptable. But it's not, it requires them, so it's not voluntarily like
Correct.
doing
Excellent.
it. So
And that's why
C
it's C.
C makes sense now. I don't think when I drew it out, I did the or. I think I did and.